everyone, I'm Janet Kong with the Carmel River Watershed Conservancy. Today we're at the Hastings Preserve with the resident director Jen Hunter to learn about the wildfire at Hastings in 2020. We'll learn about the fire's impact on the ecosystem, residents and CAL FIRE response, and wildfire under a changing climate. Hello, Jen.
My name's Jen. I'm the director out here at Hastings. So Hastings is a biological field station of the University of California, Berkeley. It first became a field station way back in 1937. And since that time, there have been staff and researchers out here that have been documenting and monitoring the plant and animal communities that exist out here.
We're now at the upper bound of the Carmel River watershed, where Santa Lucia meets the Sierra de Salinas.
Fire has always been a part of this landscape. And so in many ways, the fire actually is really, really great for the ecosystem and helps regenerate a lot of plants. It creates new habitat types for different types of animals, and is sort of broadly considered a really important part of the ecosystem of this area. So in general, the way that the fires burn, the grassland areas burn very quickly. Grass is a fantastic fuel, but it burns very, very fast.
Standing on top of the hills, we can see the darker parts are the grasslands that burned. The greener parts provide refuge from the fire for small mammals such as weasels, carnivores.
At some point after the fire, we will sort of get back to the sort of equilibrium point that we had before the fire. And so what's interesting to us at this point is to see how animals come back and sort of the species richness and the abundance and the density, and whether or not we would capture the same sort of diversity of species in places that have burned compared to places that haven't. A lot of foxes, skunks, bobcats, who are really able to exploit kind of some of these sort of shelter areas that small mammals might actually be holed up in because there's so little cover here. These sort of areas that didn't burn might be really dense small mammal populations in there. And then over time, we would expect to see deer, mountain lions, coyotes, those guys coming back. It gets more complicated when we have buildings and infrastructure and stuff involved as well. So where we're sitting right now is right near our our eastern boundary. And so in front of us here, you can see there's a fire break that comes right along this ridge and all the way down along this hill here. And that was one of the fire breaks that our neighbor, Garrett Buchanan, put in on his own to try to protect the house that's located down in this drainage.
I asked if Jen has seen wildfire behavior change throughout the years.
And I think what we're seeing in terms of climate change and the expectation for how climate change will impact our fire regime in the future is that we're going to have more and more years where we have a situation like we had this year, where we had multiple fires burning simultaneously, the fire crews were spread really thin, and it just really reduces the capacity of these crews to protect structures and things like that. I think that particularly the lightning fire that started the river fire, that storm system spun off of a tropical storm in the eastern Pacific. And so as sea surface temperatures warm, that kind of phenomenon is going to happen more and more often. While dry lightning storms like we had in August are relatively rare in this area, I would expect that those are going to become more frequent. And then because this area hasn't burned in so long, we have this buildup of fuels on the landscape that when fires do come through, they're more intense.
Fire has played an important part of our ecosystem since the beginning. In many ways, it helps species regeneration. For many plants, fire is a part of their reproduction strategy. However, it is complicated when fire and human infrastructure interface. Under changing climate, the consequences are only aggravating. What are some things we can do to protect and preserve the place we love? Can we learn about fire prevention methods? Can we reduce carbon emissions? What are some action items of yours? Comment down below or connect with us on Facebook or Instagram and let us know.